Okay, I'm going to lay out some of the documents better, explain the documents, LERs and the inspection reports are right here, right now. There was a NRC inspection of Target Rock, October 23rd, 2012, and they have one title of a problem report, PR-066, problem report for embrittled Buna-in thread seals, and so that was December 4th, 2010. So that's well, I don't know what I was going to say. So the LER, like I told you, the LER 2010-002, the refueling outage begins April 26, 2010. The event date is 10/25/2010. That's the day they called Houston, we got a problem. The report date was 12/22/2010, and we never seen it. Probably we didn't see the LER for a couple of months after that. And so when I seen this, I set out with a 2.206 problem and 2.206 petition, and I basically said, I don't know what's going on here, and we need a special inspection or a regular inspection or AIT. We need to get down to the facts of this thing before it gets any deeper and stuff. And of course the NRC thought I was crazy. The LER is so dressed up in false and corrupt certainty, I could throw up. There was so much accepting of uncertainty here. The leak and the wrong seal material would have been immediately self-evident, and they would have required shutdown and replace the affected component. Technical specification 3.6.D safety relief valves requires the reactor be shut down and pressure brought below 150 pounds within 24 hours with 2 or more SRVs inoperable. Contrary to the above, Energy determined that 2 of the 4 SRVs were inoperable for a period of greater than allowed by tech specifications. So, like I said, they had no means to define when could see the leak, and then they had no knowledge when the leak began and stuff like that. So they just had to wait until they were shut down to test it and stuff like that. So sometime during that last outage, operation period, they should have been shut down, and they didn't because they didn't have a God's eye view of the leak in the actuator component. A shaft to piston thread seal on 3 of the 4 RVs. I wrote a comment, God's eye view. 2 of the 4 SRVs to not meet design actuation requirements and therefore can be considered inoperable. So 2 of the 4 inoperable, and now the NRC says they're degraded and stuff. So I don't understand how they can say the system was degraded when it should have been inoperable, and everybody knows it. And that means they should have shut down. If they would have had a God's eye view, they would have required the shutdown in 24 hours. Back then, the testing to determine the apparent cause of the thread seal degradation is ongoing and will be reported in a supplemental report. That's the game. If they can't, then they should have had the resources to within a week to immediately understand why that seal failed. Anything else than that is corruption and stuff like that. It's just an excuse to not follow the regulations and pay a price for being stupid. So, material testing determined the apparent cause of the threaded seal degradation is ongoing and reported in a supplemental report. Well, we know that that supplemental report is going to be inaccurate also. Vermont Yankee performed an operating experience review and did not identify degradation of the thread seals to be a generic issue. Yeah. Yeah, I bet you they think it's a generic issue now. VY will replace the Buna-in threaded material in all 4 RVs during the 2011 refueling outage with a material that provides more temperature margin. Going down our thing, and so now we're going to get into the. So now we're going to get into this is the first inspection report. Material testing determined that the apparent cause of the degraded thread seal condition was thermal degradation. Incorrect. It was the wrong material being placed in there, and there was no way that they. I mean, it just was incompetence of the highest order that they didn't know that material was bad before they started up. And of course, we know that they knew that before they even put those SRVs in there that it was a class a type 2 actuator. The inspectors determined the finding was not greater than green because the subsequent analysis and engineering evaluation documented an energy operability recommendation WY 2010-00637 concluded that sufficient margin was available in the safety backup system to supply the pneumatic actuation system. The inspectors reviewed Energy's laboratory results and operability recommendation and concluded the AD system would have met all the worst case leakage conditions for all the design basis conditions. But they had it wrong. It was a degradation, a thermal degradation when it was a wrong material. So and they did all this evaluation. These guys, supposed to be the best, most trained guys in the world and stuff like that, and it is so wrong. It's amazing that they could be so wrong, and nothing's ever wrong. And I just want you to know, high pressure. They had in this inspection report they had a high pressure system problem, and basically. They had a Hipsy turbine steamline drain leak, and they replaced it with the wrong gasket. They should have had it needed a flexitalic gasket, and they replaced it with another kind of gasket. Anybody with any sense would know that you would never you would replace it with a flexitalic gasket, not a rubber type of gasket and stuff, and it burst, and it created a lot of steam in the Hipsy room, and it got alarms and stuff like that. And basically, they didn't have the repair ports on site, and they had to call out to Texas to mail them some new seals and stuff, and so and it's a like for like. Their supply system, they aren't spending the money on their repair parts system at the plant and stuff, and so they don't have these repair parts. And in order to keep operating, they have to lie. That's essentially what it comes down to. They can't stomach the results of an adequate system, repair parts system. You know what I'm saying? They can't pay the price.